All right, got to give everything a chance to start up properly real quick, and then once it does, I am going to get going here. But generally, whenever I do a live video, it takes a moment for everything to get up and running, and then once I confirm that everything is up and running, we'll go ahead and talk about what the title is, which is Happy November 1st. We have some breaking Cam Newton news that I want to talk about with y'all this morning, and I think we are just about completely up and running on all networks. So we're going to be broadcasting live on Twitter, so appreciate you watching if you're on Twitter, as well as YouTube. So appreciate you watching if you're on YouTube. And as always, want to let everybody know that if you're watching on Twitter/Periscope, I will not as easily be able to see your questions, but if you are on YouTube, I can. So if you want to definitely get your questions through, make sure you jump over to YouTube and watch me on there. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, so it looks like we're going on all the networks, so I'm going to, without further ado, get into everything. Chris Jenkins, credentialed media member for Charlotte Vibe that covers the Carolina Panthers. And today, we got some interesting information that has come through with Cam Newton that I want to share with you guys. I haven't had a chance to get a lot of deep thoughts of my own, but for the most part, I wanted to report to everybody what has been going on this morning. So, Cam Newton has flown to Green Bay to get another opinion on his foot. So here's how everything went down this morning. At about 9 o'clock, Josina Anderson, who works for ESPN, had reported that Cam Newton was headed to Green Bay to visit renowned foot specialist Dr. Robert Anderson. And a source let her know that Newton was spotted on a plane this morning that first landed in Chicago. Interesting footnote as I read that. I'm going to be going to the Green Bay game. That's where my layover is in Chicago. So that was reported about, again, 9 o'clock this morning by Josina Anderson, who currently works for ESPN. So you could draw your conclusions there about what may be happening, right? And then about 20 minutes later, good old, faithful, reliable Ian Rappaport had a report of his own that broke out to saying, you know, Cam hasn't played since about mid-September with that foot injury that he had, and that he, lost my spot here, and that his condition isn't improving, and Cam playing football is a long way off. So first, Josina reported about 9 o'clock that he was headed to Green Bay, spotted in Chicago. And then about 20 minutes later, good old Ian Rappaport reported, basically saying the same thing, but further adding that his foot has not been getting better and football is a long way off. So that's when you start to have all these thoughts about what could be going on, right? And then about 2 hours later, actually about 11:30, the Carolina Panthers released a statement confirming that Cam Newton is indeed traveling to Green Bay to get an opinion on his foot, and then it was further added the following, which I will read to you right now. It's been a long time. This is from, I spent a long time speaking with Cam this week, and he's done everything he possibly can in his rehab process to get his foot to 100%. This is Marty Herney, a quote from Marty Herney at this point. Unfortunately, we haven't reached that point. The next step is for him to go see Dr. Anderson and gather more information. Now, if you guys leave in the comments, I'm going to get to them in a second. If you haven't left a comment and want to, leave it, and I promise I will read them all. And if you're on Twitter, I need to start putting a link in here to let you know how to go over to YouTube. But just Google Charlotte Vibe, Carolina Panthers on YouTube, and you should be able to find it. Subscribe to the channel, and you can leave a comment. But nevertheless, all right, so here's my thoughts. I feel like a little bit of damage control was done by the Carolina Panthers in releasing this statement. Something they could have done yesterday, right? And one thing I'm going to say is I can't fault the team. They have to have some things that they try to not let information go out there until they know for certain what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. So I get that. But I feel like this was a little bit of damage control by the Carolina Panthers releasing this official statement after two very credible sources had released the information that they did. And I also go to think that why did they let Cam travel on a commercial flight? Why did they not, I couldn't think it was a private flight and you're stopping in Chicago, right? So Why do they do that? Anyway, I'm losing my thought because I'm getting so many things that are going through my head, and this is live TV, so you guys are seeing my thoughts as they come about. But that's my opinion on that. Cam also did a video yesterday on his YouTube channel where he thanked people for subscribing to his channel, and he didn't mention anything the other day about his foot not getting better. So that's the latest on that. I think I had a few other notes. I'm going to get to you guys' questions. So obviously, what does the future hold for Cam Newton is everybody's thoughts right now. If his foot isn't getting better and we're we're week 9, I believe, at this point, trade deadline has passed, you begin to think about injured reserve for Cam and shutting him down for the rest of the season, because at this point, if you're trying to take care of him as a franchise guy, even if you're trying to have trade value, you don't want him to get further hurt. You absolutely want him to heal. So you begin to think that he could miss the remainder of the season. He could be on injured reserve. And if any of those things happen, you look at Will Greer as the backup to Kyle Allen, and I don't think that excites too many people at this point. You know, we still have a good record. Don't tell them what happens this weekend, but if we win this weekend, we're still in a pretty good chance to reach the playoffs. And I feel like you want to have somebody good behind Kyle Allen if he goes down. You can't trade anymore because that deadline passed early this week. So, you know, you look into who could you bring in off the streets to back up Kyle Allen. I don't know who that would be. Again, this information is just breaking. I haven't had a chance to do any of my research. But those are some of the questions that you have. And that is all that I have off my official notes. But again, I want to give you guys that sequence of events to bring you up to date on the latest news for Cam Newton. And now let's see what you guys have been talking about. Shake and Bake says, what's up? Locksmang says, surgery. The live speaker, what's up, my dude? How's it going? How's it going? By the way, if you guys ever see me out in the streets, please say hello. I saw a gentleman the other day, immediately recognized me, we took a picture. I love meeting you all, love the support that you have. So please never hesitate to speak to me. I like to be a man of the people and work for you guys and be personable. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Cam got to get surgery. Stop putting it off. Yeah, I haven't finished reading something about this. Like I said, this just broke, and I want to get this information out to you all, where I think they said most people don't go to get surgery, let this naturally heal, and maybe it's time to consider it. I don't know, because I believe he has surgery. And this is, again, not having done all my research, but I would think if he has surgery, there's going to be several weeks before he could be back out there, right? And we're, again, week 9 now, and 2, week 11. So I don't know. Medical team sucks, says somebody. That vegan diet, says someone else. I know that there was a report by, my man that works at the Charlotte Observer, Henderson. Man, Brendan, I believe his name is. Sorry, again, live TV and hadn't done all my research. He did a report that I didn't watch the whole thing about how his vegan diet could be affecting him. So I can't speak on that. I don't have any knowledge about it. There's a resource you guys may can check out if you're interested in that angle of everything. Trent Williams lost faith in his team's medical staff, and look what happened. Now look at Cam. Yeah, from what I believe, the Henderson guy, let me take a look at my notes really quickly here. Yeah, so the guy that Cam Newton is seeing, Robert Anderson, is a foot specialist who previously served as an assistant position with the Carolina Panthers. So I don't think it's a lack of faith in our current team, but certainly if it's not healing and you're wondering, you know, it's not uncommon for people to seek a second opinion in any kind of major procedure. So I think that's just what they're doing, trying to do their due diligence there. What else we got here? Why didn't we get anyone doing the open market? So even though you know the information is slow to come out to the public about what's really going on with Cam, very good question there. If it's not healing, the people inside that building knew ahead of time. Why did they not try to make a move before the trade deadline? So my thoughts as I speak about this live and online with you guys, that maybe, you know, who do you trade to get another quarterback? And do they have assets that are significant enough to do it? So maybe just from a GM standpoint, trading is a possibility, but who are you going to trade? How much more value do you get in a trade versus who you would be looking to get that's currently a free agent anyway? And maybe they're saying it's not worth a trade because we're not going to get much more differently than if we just pick up a free agency. That's my quick thought about that. Very good question, though. Cam might be checked out. Laxmane says Cap is still out there. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick is still out there. Honestly, I would say why not consider that a possibility? Again, we don't all know what's going to happen, but why not consider that possibility should Cam come to a situation where he can't play the rest of the year? I think Colin Kaepernick actually would be an excellent choice at this point for insurance sake, for mobility sake, for an experienced quarterback sake, for value sake. All of those things, I think Colin could be viable at that point. CMC will just play quarterback. Some good comments. I'm just reading you guys' comments here, thinking about to wrap up. Nobody signed a Cap sad. Cap ain't played ball in 3 years, but he's healthy. Chris, do you think that we still have some potential in making the playoffs? Hard for me to see Allen being that guy, but you never know. So in terms of potential for this team to make the playoffs, it's, in my opinion, certainly still there. We win this weekend, and we're back to, I believe right now we're 4-3, so we go to 5-3 at that point. 5-3. You look at, halfway through the season, 10-6. I believe the playoffs is very possible, and I don't think that we should be too hard on Kyle Allen and what happened to him recently. Sorry, multitasking. You guys can see all that I'm doing, like working Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, and my video all at once here doing this live video. But you look at what happened to Kyle Allen last week against San Francisco 49ers, and one thing that you got to just think about, played one of the best defenses there is. I mean, with Nick Bosa and all those guys getting pressure on him, and they're an undefeated team, so you can't knock the fact that this guy did not have a good game against one of the best defenses out there, and he didn't look like his normal self, right? I've seen every game. I'm sorry, I have not. I didn't see his first game, but I've seen 3 games of Kyle Allen playing. Not one time did he look like that. He just looked different from the very start. Even just, one thing that we loved, or I loved about Kyle when I first saw him, was his poise, was his accuracy. And you didn't see a lot of that against San Francisco at all. So I feel like the moment may have just gotten, finally caught up to him playing that game, knowing it was a big test for him and wanting to impress. And he pressed too hard. I asked Rivera specifically that question after the game in San Francisco, and he said that he did feel like he pressed a little bit. Didn't see the same, just super poised Kyle Allen that he normally sees. I feel like we'll definitely get that back from Kyle this Sunday against the Titans. And I think that he's going to play well. I just feel like Kyle Allen, he's not a superstar, but he's a very, very solid, fundamentally sound quarterback that gives you an opportunity to win. You don't feel like he's going to lose a game for you. So playoffs in that matter, just from Kyle being in the quarterback position, I feel is definitely possible. So let me see if I got any more questions here. If not, I'm going to go have me some lunch and do some more research and do another report for you guys. So again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell notification so you can take part in these live videos that I do. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. But that is all for now. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe from our studio.